Back in the early 1950s, there was a photographer named Edward Weston. And Edward Weston, he started photographing still life subjects like no one had ever done before. He did painstaking development times and experimenting with different papers. And he's famous for his still lifes of just close-ups. So Edward Weston started photographing these unique still life pieces just using vegetables and fruits. And so it is this inspiration, this point of inspiration that I want you to go after in terms of doing this still life assignment. This is a still life assignment, just using 3 inanimate objects, specifically a coffee cup and a saucer, a teaspoon, and an egg. So my desire in presenting a few lessons on photography is to instill within my students a knowledge in terms of how you manage light. Whether you're a painter or a photographer, you're always managing light. So the way that you manage that light is the first and foremost important principle that you need to work with. And so, for instance, right now I have just one light source. Most of the great artists and painters and photographers, they deal with one light source. I think of the painter Caravaggio. Caravaggio had one light source that would come right down from the ceiling in an overhead hole in the ceiling, actually, back during the Renaissance era. And so, for instance, I have one light source right now, and I'm shooting this piece right here entirely on the cell phone. So in using just one light source, if I simply you can watch how the light changes on my face as I simply rotate around. From the light source itself. Straight on, it's very stark lighting. As we pull away, you get your shadows. You get your half shadows. And then slowly it becomes a backlit image. What I'm trying to introduce to you is the importance of just experimenting using a one source light. Now with this first lesson, what I want you to do is I want you to take 3 inanimate objects, specifically from your kitchen, a coffee cup, a tablespoon or a teaspoon, and a single egg. Then what I want you to do is I want you to take the 3 objects and I want you to arrange them together in such a way that is aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Basic formula for arranging a good photograph is always to have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. You have to view, if you're going to have 3 elements, you have to view those 3 elements in terms of a piece of music. So that if they were notes and you had them separated the same distance apart, it would be very boring. But if you had 1 note over here and 2 over here, it would be more interesting. So that's another way to start considering how to rearrange your objects. The first thing you'll do is you'll put the objects down, and then you need to shoot the image at an eye level. Currently, this is your eye level as the camera is directly in front of me. This is called the monument level because you're looking up from the bottom. And then of course you have the overhead or a bird's eye view, okay, which is right up here like so. So I would encourage you to play with the eye level, okay, of the arrangement. So here are 3 different photographs that I made using these 3 elements. So what I want you to do is to find a good quiet place in your house, get these 3 elements, and then get a single light source, a lamp. It can be a house lamp and you just take the shade off, or it can be a direct lamp like this one that I have right here. That's really the best that you can, because it directs the light directly. And then lay your 3 objects down. Now the interesting thing is that you'll get a distortion, and that's a part of the beauty of photography. So you'll have a distortion, the spoon will look long, or the cup will look obscure and long. That's a part of it. Then you turn your image into a total black and white and use all of the different filters and editing filters that you have just using your cell phone. So all of these images that you see here are all made just on the cell phone in one sitting, and I did it within like 10 minutes, so it wasn't a long process at all before I found the results that I wanted. Okay, so let's see what you can do.